Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. The Canadians do not do a whole lot of anything in Game 6, and we are going to a Game 7 in Buffalo to decide this second round series. Canadians lose 8-3, the final score against Buffalo Sabres at home. Just a disaster is really what it is. We had a great start. We were up 3-1 at one point. We played a little over half of the first period. We were up 3-1. Scored on each of our first three shots in this game. Lyon made, I don't think, a save in the entire game. Maybe one, but arguably not. I think the Canadians were just absolutely destroying early on there. I mean, it all starts obviously with Dahlin scoring on the first shot of the game. He does some nice dancing around, and guess who's on the ice? It's the top line for Montreal. They don't do anything defensively, and it goes up into the back of our net there. A tale of literally every single game this entire postseason. We just continuously get scored on. In the opening couple minutes of the game, every single time Buffalo just always appears like they're a little bit more ready for the game than the Canadians are, and that appeared to be the case in this one. I feel like in this one mostly it was just it didn't really feel like the Canadians wanted to win as much as the Buffalo Sabres did. The Buffalo Sabres came out hard, as they do in every game. They forechecked hard. They pressured us. They finished their checks. They did everything they needed to do. The Canadians got some luck and obviously scored some big goals early on, but it just didn't really feel like the Canadians wanted this game as badly as Buffalo. And when it comes playoff time, like, you can't be outwilled like that. That's exactly what happens in this game. We were up 3-1, and we kind of just sit back, and we sit back a little bit too far, and suddenly it's 8-3. And we're walking out of our own building, with our tails between our legs here. It's really frustrating, to say the least. It's just like the defensive effort in this game was just embarrassing. In a playoff game, they're just like, and it's just the things that I've been saying, right? Like the defense are pressing up into the play offensively, trying to generate offense, and we end up getting beat on 2-on-1s going the other way. You can argue like the Veleno getting hit in the head thing before the Helenius goal changed things a little bit, but I still see way too many odd man rushes for Buffalo because our defense aren't getting support when they step up into the play, or they're stepping up into the play irresponsibly in the first place. Kind of both of those things, and just there's so many times I genuinely cannot think of one thing that our top line did 5-on-5 that was good at all. I just feel like Cole Caulfield, like 5-on-5 playoff highlights is just him being hemmed in his own zone, giving the puck away, like dumping and changing, he's doing absolutely nothing. Suzuki doesn't look like he's doing much either. I mean, obviously, the power play looks good. I think we do a nice job when we get on that power play, especially early on in this game. We had a power play goal there. Ivan Demonov absolutely ripped one. Gotta love that. But outside of that, it just feels like our top line is just a waste of 45 seconds. They get out there and they just get hemmed in. And it feels like Buffalo knows that. They know that they can press this top line. And we just spend so much time in our own zone. And we can't make passes to save our lives. And we're just stuck in our own zone. We get scored on. It's a disaster, for lack of a better way to say it. It's just, there's nothing going on. We're not able to protect ourselves in the defensive zone. There are so many times in this series as well where our defensemen or forwards or whatever will have the puck. It's a clear possession for Montreal, but then Buffalo just keeps pressuring, and we keep just messing around with the puck in the defensive zone. We cough it up, and then they get themselves a scoring chance off of us just not being able to, we literally have no pressure, to just make a pass and get out of the zone, but we mess around with it a little bit. Buffalo comes in with some forechecking pressure, which the Canadians don't do very well either. And then we just kind of crumble under that pressure in our own zone, and all of a sudden it's gonna end up in the back of our net. We're getting scoring chances against us. It's all of that stuff, and it's just it just seems like a constant thing. Like we can't get out of our own zone, and when we're in our own zone, we're taking undisciplined penalties. There's more high sticking. There's a Matheson double minor high sticking. Like that's just something you got to clean up. It's the same stuff over and over again that's burning us, and it just feels like when we're in our own zone, there's just nothing we can do. We're just getting hemmed in over and over and over again, and it's just like eventually they're gonna score, right? Like it doesn't matter what team you're playing. If you spend a majority of the time in your own zone and you just can't get pressure going the other way, you're gonna lose. Like we got outshot 36-22. They beat us in the face-off circle 60.7 to 39-3. They were better on the power play. They scored 4 power play goals in this game. We took way more penalties than they did. They blocked more shots. It's just, yeah, like there's not much else to say. Like like if we go break it down, obviously the Dahlin goal is embarrassing in its own right. Obviously it's a great move by Dahlin. Like like a fantastic player, made a fantastic play, great stuff. But at the same time, it's like this is like the 4th game in a row where the Montreal Canadiens have conceded within the first 2 minutes to Buffalo. It's almost a guarantee at this point that when you're starting a game in this series that the Canadiens are just going to be down 1-0 to start, because for whatever reason we keep starting our top line of Suzuki, Slafkovsky, Caulfield, and they always get burnt, and they're just doing nothing right now. Like it's frustrating, and I'm being a little bit cynical about things right now because I'm frustrated about that game. But to me, if I was Martin St. Louis, I would give Cole Caulfield and Suzuki and Slafkovsky 4th line minutes. Like they should not be playing as much as they are, considering how bad they've been at 5-on-5. They don't do anything. Like none of them are forechecking. And plus Caulfield, but he's not looking like he usually looks. He doesn't do anything on the forecheck. Like he's nowhere to be found. Suzuki is just kind of just floating around, and Slafkovsky, he's doing okay, but he gives away the puck. He makes bad passes, all that kind of stuff. And we just can't get out of our own zone. When we do get out of the own zone, we're not getting the looks that we want to get. And then like everybody else gets out there, like Demidov gets out there, and he's making plays happen, and we're getting pucks on the net. We're scoring goals. Like all of these goals that we scored here, Arbor Jacki, like bless Arbor Jacki, what a shot from him to tie this game up. Like he gets a goal there. Jake Evans gets his 6th assist of the postseason, by the way. Great effort there. I mean, obviously, like just the mentality needs to be what Jacki did. Like he just throws the puck on net and sees what happens, and we score, right? And it ties the game up. That's big. Demidov is playing fantastic. We need to keep feeding him the puck, get him on the ice a little bit more. Gets his 2nd of the postseason there, an absolute wire of a one-timer to take a 2-1 lead. Lane Hudson gets his 11th assist, Cole Caulfield his 5th assist, and Jake Evans shorthanded. We've seen that movie before in the regular season. He does it again, just underneath the blocker arm side there for a 2nd goal of the postseason. Matheson gets the puck up to him for his 2nd assist. So, yeah, obviously, like, a great start, but then after that, it is literally 7 unanswered goals for Buffalo in our building. Like, it's just frustrating. Zucker scores 1 because Matheson is on a 4-minute double minor for high sticking, which is just undisciplined. There's no reason for that, and it happens, and then, they drive the net, they get the puck towards the net, and Zucker's able to put that one home. Great. It's tough, but we're still up 1, right? And then we come into the second period, nothing's going. Like, we didn't get anything going at all. Zach Benson is able to put home a rebound. Dobeš makes the save, but then it trickles through his legs. He's not aware of it. And then Benson's able to put that one home. It ties the game up. Then Jack Quinn on the power play, he lasers a one-timer, but at the same time, you gotta have that one. If you're Dobeš, there was no screen. Matheson was in front of him, but he moves away, so Dobeš can see the puck coming the entire way and just misses it on the glove hand side. Frustrating. And it's tough for Dobeš. I mean, he's been fantastic this entire postseason. I'm not gonna be too go back to the regular season, watch the videos. We've had goaltender problems, right? Like the fact that we're going to be pissed at Dobeš for one game that he doesn't play well, when we've been incredibly fortunate over the last 13 total games coming into this one, for that he was going to be able to put himself in that position. it's not surprising to me that Dobish was going to have a night where he didn't really have things go his way, considering the fact that he's been fantastic in every single game this postseason leading up to this one. And I feel confident that he'll be ready for Game 7 as well. I think he'll be able to shake this off. We've seen it in the past from him. It's a road game that kind of suits our team a little bit better as well. I think they'll be able to shake it off and find a way in Game 7, and Dobish especially is going to get better. But it doesn't surprise me that after how many good performances in a row by him, he unfortunately has a night where things don't go his way. That seemed to be the case there. What Quinn just puts one in, it goes posted in, and it's a good shot. But at the same time, Dobish was able to see that all the way. He should have been able to just glove that and settle things down. But instead, it's 4-3 Buffalo. Helenus is able to score a little while after that on a 2-on-1. There was some talk about how Veleno got hit in the head or whatever, but at the same time, there's just so many odd man rushes we're giving up, and then Gooley just happens to fall on the blue line, which is unfortunate. Gives up a 2-on-1 with Jack-Eye as the lone defender, and I'll credit to Jack-Eye, but he's not going to be able to stop a 2-on-1. It's a great executed play by the Sabres. They end up scoring. It's 5-3 as we go into the third period, and that just the entire second period, just we didn't have anything going. There was it just felt like the offense, as soon as UPL stepped into the net, it just felt like the game was completely different. And I feel like part of it is just the Canadians just allowed it to become that way. We were playing fantastic. We were doing everything we needed to be doing, at least offensively. I mean, defense wasn't great the whole stretch, but at least offensively we're doing everything we need to be doing. We had a 3-1 lead, and they make the goaltender change, and all of a sudden we just sit back. We're not playing the same way anymore. We're not as hungry for the puck as we were, and we played an entire 40 minutes in this game with just absolutely no urgency, no need for getting anything going. We spent very little time in the offensive zone, took very little shots on goal in the entirety of that last period there. And it's you can look at the score sheet. We got scored on 3 times in the second period, 3 times in the third period. It's unacceptable effort there. It just felt like the defensive zone play, we just aren't able to defend that. Even when we do have the puck in our own zone, it just feels like Buffalo is just so relentless, and we just kind of panic under the pressure of Zach Benson coming down at us or whatever, and we're coughing it up, and it just becomes a thing. And we go into the third period, and Jack Quinn scores another one. It's another penalty that we're taking, and it's frustrating to even be in that position at all. That's where we're at, though. It's a good shot from Quinn. I mean, you got to give it to him. Dobish isn't going to be able to make that save. It's very much a clear cut. That one's going in the net. Tage Thompson scores on the empty net, and then Zach Metza scores his first goal there on Fowler, who got in for his first career playoff game there. This one goes through the stick of Matheson, and then in between the legs of Fowler there. So unfortunate that he can't even keep the puck out of the net for the short time that he was there. Not going to blame him either. It doesn't really matter at that point. We're already down 7-3, so it's not a big deal. But I think just the whole point of this is just that this game was an absolute disaster for the Canadians. They just did not get anything going. They started great in terms of offense, but even when they were playing well and it was 3-1, there was still some defensive, stuff that was not looking great. We take penalties. We're just not able to make the plays to get into the offensive zone. Our top line, our best guys on the ice just don't really look like they're doing anything out there. And let me know in the comments if you feel any different. But I just feel to me, it just feels like our top line is just wasting ice time. Before Demidov and Newhook and Josh Anderson and those guys can get out on the ice, because those guys are clearly outperforming our top players on 5-on-5 ice. It just doesn't really feel like our top guys are making a difference when they're out there on 5-on-5. Obviously, the power play has been looking good, all things considered, throughout this postseason, in this game as well. But there's multiple games in a row now. It just feels like that top line, unless they get a gift like they did in the last game, a nice turnover that they were able to capitalize on it. Just feels like they're just kind of out there chasing the game around, and it doesn't really feel like they're getting possession. They're not really doing anything to dictate play, and it kind of extends out to everybody else. But I feel like those guys are the ones who are getting paid to go and make a difference, especially in moments like these, and it's not happening right now. I just don't really feel like I don't feel like on the edge of my seat when I see Caulfield with a puck anymore, because I just feel like I know he's just going to dump this thing in and go and get a change. That is a very stark difference from what we saw, what we've seen in from Cole Caulfield in the regular season. I feel like throughout his majority of his career when he's healthy, right? I feel like he's always dangerous when he's got the puck on his stick, and it just doesn't really feel like that's the case in this postseason. Especially recently, it just doesn't really feel like any of those guys are really dangerous when they've got the puck, and that's something that's got to change. Even if we do win Game 7 and we go to face Carolina, like, we're gonna have to find a way to get some offense to go through. I'm not really concerned about the offense altogether. It's more so the fact that the lack of offense is putting us in the defensive zone over and over again, and that's only going to get worse with Carolina as well. But going into this Game 7 here, we're experienced, right? We've been in a Game 7 before. It was only a few weeks ago now. We got to find a way to get back to what we're doing. Maybe it's time to put Brendan Gallagher back in, get that little juice going. Like we did in round 1 there. He obviously came up big for us when we needed him. So we'll have to see what happens, of course, but I would just love to see personally a little bit of a shakeup, maybe shake up in the lines, get that top line broken up a little bit, play with some other guys who could maybe drive the forecheck a little bit, and maybe Cole Caulfield can be the benefactor of somebody else doing some work in there. I'm just really frustrated with the way that those guys are playing, and it just leads to so much defensive zone time. Like, it's I don't know, it's frustrating. But yeah, that's pretty much all I've got for this one. It's just I would like to see some lineup shakeups a little bit, and just all around it. Like, I want to see the Canadians come out in Game 7 like they want to win this game. Like, it just doesn't really feel like that's been the case, especially at the starts of games over the last couple. It just feels like, especially in this game, it just felt like the Buffalo Sabres wanted to win this game a lot more than the Canadians did. Obviously, like, the freedom of playing on the road maybe has an impact on that. We'll be the benefactors of that as we go into this Game 7 here. But it just feels like, to me, like, the Canadians need to come out in Game 7 like they want to win. They cannot let Buffalo score again in the first 2 minutes of the game in Game 7. Like, that's going to be we can't keep putting ourselves in a hole like that, and we need to find a way to to get back on the horse and find a way to be a little bit better overall there. And even more than that, we just need to find a way to get back to what we do best. Our offense is always going to be there, right? Like, our offense is very, very talented. If we grind away at it and we're in a close game, our offense is going to show up when we need it to. Doesn't matter who it comes from. Seems like the depth is outperforming, obviously, but our offense is going to be there. We just need to clean up the defense. We need to clean up the defense, and part of it is playing in the offensive zone in the first place. Defense is more than just in our defensive zone. We have to be playing in the offensive zone, because if you just spend all your time in your own zone, you're going to get scored on eventually. You take penalties, you're going to get scored on, all that kind of stuff. So we need to be disciplined. We need to play some offense so that we're playing defense, right? And just when we're in the defensive zone, we need to clean things up. We need to win more battles. Just need to want it a little bit more is really all it boils down to, in my opinion. Just kind of want the game a little bit more. So that's pretty much all I've got for this one. A frustrating end to that one, and this team is very experienced. They know what they're doing. They just got to go out and prove it in Game 7 here. It should be a great one on Monday night. So again, that is pretty much all I have for you guys on this one. Hope you enjoyed my 18-minute rant here, and I will see you after a big win. I believe they can get it done. They'll get it done in Game 7.